Hello, this is a quick and simple tutorial on how to set up tracking for button clicks on your website. So first off, what is exactly tracking? You're gonna be able to tell how many times the button was clicked, what type of user clicked the button, what page was the button clicked on. For example, if you have this same button on multiple pages of your website, you will know that. This will be recorded in your analytics. Now, point number 2. This is an absolutely free tutorial. There is no paid tools involved at all, and the only thing you need is a little bit of your time and optionally knowledge of HTML and CSS, but this is not required because following this tutorial you'll be able to learn how to do this. Now, point number 3. This tracking works for any type of CMS and any type of website, regardless if you're using WordPress, Wix, or maybe a custom built website. That doesn't make any difference because the tracking happens on the client side in your browser. The Google Tag Manager is basically picking up that event and then sending that information over to Google Analytics. The only thing you obviously need is to have a website and have Google Tag Manager installed on your website. I'm not going to be going over that right now because I just want to make this tutorial short and just show you how it works. But if you have questions, just let me know in the comments and I will do that as well. So anyway, we have a website, we have a button, we have Google Tag Manager, and we have Google Analytics. So how do we know? And if I click this, I just gonna forward me to google.com in a new window. So very simple, just a tutorial page. So how do we know that I just clicked that button and I just did it on this page, etc.? How do we know that that happened, and how do we record this information so that you can later on check your analytics and analyze the performance? First thing you're gonna do, you're gonna go to Google Tag Manager, you're gonna go to triggers, and you will create a new trigger. You'll click here, you're gonna go to click. You have two options here, all elements or just links. Because this is a link, the way I set it up is like a link, I'm gonna select just links. Now, if I'm looking at this specific element, I see at least three ways how I could track the clicks of this specific link. I could use the class name, which is CTA. I could use the href value, that is google.com, or I could use the text of the link, which is check price. So those are my three options. Potentially I could combine them, but let's keep this tutorial very simple, and I'm gonna choose to track the clicks of the button by its class, CTA, and check price. What that means is anytime on the website somebody clicks a button which has a class CTA and the text check price, that means it's gonna meet my condition and it's gonna trigger an event which will be recorded in Google Analytics. I could potentially just track it by the class name only, but if I had the same class on multiple buttons with multiple text, it wouldn't give me accurate enough data. So I will use the class and the check price text. So let's proceed with creating the trigger. So I'll call it button clicks. Very simple. I'll click here, and here I have all link clicks and some link clicks. So I'll check some, and I'm gonna start setting the condition. So the first thing, like I said, I'm gonna be tracking it by the class, which equals to CTA. So let's do that. We're gonna go here and we're gonna select click class. Now, in case you don't have this, in case you're setting it up for the first time, you're gonna go to choose built-in variables and you'll select it from here. So click class, I'm gonna say equal CTA. Now I will add one more condition, check price text. So I'll click a plus, select click text, again equals to check price. Save. Step number 2, I'm gonna go to tags and I will create a tag. Essentially, a trigger is basically a condition that you set for your desired event. In this case, it's a button click. So I just said, if there's a link on my website that has class CTA and that has the text check price, then you're gonna fire a trigger, right? And when that trigger is fired, I'm gonna create a tag, which means that this information will be sent over to Google Analytics. So I'll create new. Now I need to select the trigger that I just created, which is this one. I'm gonna name it. You can name it the same, no problem. And now I'm gonna select Google Analytics. And now I'll make sure to select GA4 event. All right. Next thing, you go to Google Analytics and you need to specify the ID of your data stream. Basically, that means you're telling Tag Manager where exactly you want to send this information to. You should see this green Google tag found. You're good. And now the name. What exactly is going to be displayed in GA4? So I'll say sample button clicks. Click Save. Submit and publish. So now I've just created the trigger and the tag. However, there's an important step you need to do, which is quality check. You need to make sure that whatever you set up is working correctly, because a lot of times things may go wrong. There are different technologies and different elements, and you need to make sure that your trigger and tag are working correctly. So how do you do that? You're gonna click preview in Google Tag Manager. Now you're gonna paste the URL of your website. Actually, I should have pasted this whole thing, but it's okay, because I can just paste it here. Okay, I can't. I'll click preview again and just paste the URL where my button is. Connecting to the window. Now I'm in a preview mode. I mean, debugging mode, testing mode. Essentially, now if I click this, we go back to this page. You can see there is two rows: text fired, text not fired. So not fired is just everything I have, and fired is that event that I just clicked. It basically worked, and it's here. Button click. And you can see that this event has the name sample button clicks, which is the one I just configured, and it's going to this specific GA4 property. So everything works correctly. Now, so that means we're sending the data to GA4. How do we know that the GA4 property is actually receiving this data? Go to admin, scroll to the very bottom and click debug view. And it's gonna give you this list of live events on your website. And you can see that if I click it again, it now should appear here as an event, which this sample button clicks, which is already on the list, but it's gonna appear again because I just click it again. There's about 20-second or 30-second delay between Tag Manager and GA, but you should see it now. Oh, okay, I clicked pause accidentally. So you can see there is this first sample button click event and the second one. So now that means that your Tag Manager is working correctly. It's tracking the clicks, then it's sending the data over to GA4. The GA4 is now receiving the data. And now what happens next? It's gonna record this data in your property, and you will see this information under this page report, and then you have engagement and events, and this is where all the events are recorded and tracked. So for example, I have some existing events set up because it's gonna take some time to appear on this list. It's not gonna appear here immediately, but I can show you another example. I have this Amazon link clicks, which is on this list, and it's telling me how many times this event was sent over to the analytics for and I can track additional statistics like event count by gender, by location, and there's many more opportunities how you can what you can see in here. You can see you can also go to pages and screens, and you can see a list of pages and the event count, or you can, I think you can set up, you can choose a specific event and see that that's the page that brought the most Amazon link click events to the website. There's this next page, and you get the idea. So this is the same how you would be able to see which pages was this button clicked on. So this is how it works from A to Z, from having a button on your site to having that information on your Google Analytics. If you have any questions, make sure let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to explain some additional details of this process.